So you may recall, or you may have seen a previous video of mine where I put a not a turbo, a twin timber on floats to fly at an event, and this is the event, and I did fly it there. You get a little bit of a view here of how many people showed up. This was pretty early in the day. This is only about half the airplanes that were there a little bit later. It was quite the event. We had people from several other clubs that showed up, and quite a few people from our club were there. Our flying site's only about a mile or two just north of here. This is a fairly new park. Uh, I think it just opened about 4 or 5 years ago, and they dug out this pond just for this purpose for people to come. It's not a fishing pond; it's a recreation pond. Uh, they built that little ramp there so people could launch boats or airplanes. And you see that's not one of our club members, that's guys from a different club, uh, with this little hydroplane out there, a pretty fast little boat. But there were people taking off and landing all day long. There's seldom not anybody in the air or on the water. Here in a second, you're going to see, yep, don't know who that is. I think that's a Carbon Cub Z there. The guy's about to pick up. Yep. A lot of people taking still and movies. I took this from my DJI drone. There comes, I think that's our club president's airplane that just docked there. And then there's a Carbon Cub S2 just went in the water. And pan around again. Somebody taking movies. So the guy in the red shirt there, that's a Turbo Timber Evo. Crashed that right at the end of the event. He was doing an inverted flat spin and it didn't pull out. We recovered the airplane using a couple of tugboats from the local RC boat club, and it turned out that the elevator servo had stripped out completely. So when he got it into the flat spin, he couldn't recover it. The guy that just walked by is our club president, and he's taking it's a giant scale, big airplane, and he brings that out to the field almost every time he comes. He's really good with it. He's a fairly decent 3D pilot, and I think you'll see him do a knife edge here in a minute. He had that thing in the air probably half the time we were there. It seemed like he was really, really busy flying. So you might ask how we managed to get this done. Well, we got a 1-day FRIA via AMA, and turned out to be just an absolutely gorgeous day. Almost no wind. There's the president checking to make sure that nobody's going to get in his way, and does a couple of rolls right after takeoff. He flew that thing almost entirely over the lake. He didn't get very far away. And by the way, the turbo timber was a real joy. Not the turbo, the twin timber was a real joy to fly off of water. It performed magnificently. I think it's probably a better airplane off the water than it is off of a grass turf field. That differential thrust makes a huge difference. So with that, coming to the end of this video, I actually had more footage than this, but I think you get the idea. Airplanes taking off and landing almost constantly. It was a hoot. This was the first time I've actually flown at one of these. We haven't been doing this very long. We do one in the spring and one in the fall. And this one we call the Spring Fling. So with that, goodbye and thanks for watching. Hit like or subscribe or comment as you wish. Goodbye.